Morning, everybody. Welcome to Stock Market and Futures Market Analysis from your boy, Steven Gonzalez. Excuse me, my voice is a little, I don't know why it sounds like this right now, but hopefully you guys can understand me with this creepy voice. Um, quick introduction. My name is Steven Gonzalez, and I love volume profile and market profile. That's how I look at the market. That's how I judge and put on trades. Look at the market structure along with the most traded prices of the week and the month, as well as supply and demand and key levels, right? So everybody who watches knows that that's what we look at, and basically that's how I look at the market, right? Um, of course, trying to build a channel. Please subscribe, set some notifications. Uh, Trying to build this thing, and hopefully we keep growing and make money in the process, right? That's all we can really ask for. Um, of course, I have my Twitter, so that's at Gonzo719. Give me a follow. That would be great. And let's get into these futures. Let's see what they're doing. All right. Give me 1 second here. Let's see what those futures are doing. Okay. So, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is past 30,000. Hasn't done that since June 2022. Okay, so that's to note. It's up 2.89%. Okay. Um, Ether. Also, I just saw some news for Ether about to unleash like 33 billion or something like that. So let me make sure. When I saw this before, I just want to make sure. Yeah. So Ether and upgrade to unlock 33 billion. Investors are finally set to gain access to more than 33 billion of Ether this week under a planned revamp of the blockchain. A new software upgrade to Ether and blockchain, dubbed Chapella, will let market players redeem their staked Ether coins they have deposited and locked up on the network over the past 3 years in return for interest. So that's pretty decent news. Um, let's look at the VIX. VIX is up 0.84. Silver point up 0.69. Gold up 0.58. Russell up 0.91. 30-year bonds up 0.14. Crude's flat basically. Crude's just been in a range. Um, ES pretty much flat. 4137 right now. The Dow flat. Nasdaq pretty much flat, only down 0.09. 10-year yield is down 0.26. It's down to 3.4. The dollar is down 0.39. So not much besides the Bitcoin and Ether pretty much moving pretty good. Gold did dip under 2,000, but now it's above it. Getting a lot of mixed messages with those employment numbers on Friday. So let's move on to the next watch list. Now, coins getting love with the Bitcoin, right? And the Ether. So that's up 2.2%. And Tesla. Tesla is up 1.35%. I saw they're going to build, um, let's see here. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to get into this a little later, but there's Tesla. The leader of a U.S. Congressional Committee on China said on Monday he was concerned about electric car maker Tesla's dependency on China a day after the company revealed plans to open a megapack battery factory in Shanghai. Tesla announced the factory in a tweet on Sunday, and Chinese state media said it would initially produce 10,000 megapack units a year, equal to about 40 gigawatt hours of energy storage. So that's pretty big, right? Netflix, a lot of news today. Netflix is talking about doing an animated series for Stranger Things. So What else we got here? Boeing has an upgrade. So let's go down to some laggards here. So Amazon is down 1.05. Microsoft down 1.62. Okay. Snow is down 3.57% pre-market. All right. Now this might have to do. I'm not sure about the Amazon, but the Microsoft with the lacking computer sales, the PC sales have really dipped bad. So that could be obviously a big factor. All right, let's get into the next one. Top sectors. Okay. Let's get into this here. Let's see. Not much of a leader. Morgan Stanley, I wouldn't really call that a leader. Salesforce is down 0.28%. There's really nothing to really speak of here unless there was some type of news, which, um, yeah, we'll just move on to the next one. We'll look at the sectors. What do we have here? Not much of a leader. Financials. Uh, market's waiting for this CPI. Okay. Technology is down 0.25. I mean, that's a little significant, right, with Microsoft. So, and Apple. Apple's kind of flat, but Microsoft's down 1.54%. So, that's what we're looking at as far as the futures, right? Um, we can get into some news. All right, let's move over here. I just wanted to talk about a couple things. So, let's get into that news. So, Bitcoin tops 30K, we talked about. Alibaba's actually has their own chat GBT, their own artificial intelligence chatbot. That's really all I want to talk about there. Let's talk about a couple things here. Like I said, Boeing targets 2025 to return to pre-crisis 737 max production rates. They got an upgrade because of that. Cannabis producer Tilray to buy Hexo. So Tilray's down pre-market because they're going to buy Hexo. Google has some kind of lawsuit, antitrust lawsuit from South Korea. There's Boeing. Let's see. Tesla I talked about. Ethereum I just talked about. And then here's the upgrade for Boeing. Bernstein raises target price to 252 from 240, saying that in 3 different periods over the last 20 years, Boeing has substantially outperformed. So that's the news. Today we do have some Fed speaks going on. Let's look at the calendar for today. So we have Fed Harker speaking and Kashkari today. Not much data that's going to come out today. Obviously, the big one tomorrow is the minutes and CPI. So the market today will probably stay within a range. Doesn't mean it has to, but most likely it will, waiting for that information. Okay. All right. Let's move into the daily charts. All right. Let's look at the indexes. All right. So the SPY, what did we do? Looked like we had weakness, right? We opened here, pushed down, couldn't find any additional sellers, and then we basically covered the shorts from the overnight. So basically, what I was talking about was 100% net short almost yesterday. Well, that came to fruition, and we basically went up to Thursday's highs, made kind of like a double top. All right, caught some support here at the 90 MA daily. All right, let's look at the Qs. Q's obviously something similar. Came down to the lows, had a nice wick down here, got bought up, crossed the 9 EMA daily, but kind of almost reached Thursday's highs. All right, we're most likely doing this to wait. The CPI is huge because it's going to basically try to predict of what the Fed's going to do in May for as far as a hike or no hike. So that's what's really going on there. Let's look at the Dow. Look at that. Look at that level. The level's a monster. 336.19. Just a monster level. I mean, just boom, boom, resistance. I mean, this range here, support, 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 resistance, 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 and then it came up to it yesterday. And where are we at today? 336. We're right here. That's a really big level in the Dow. Okay, so leaders in the Dow, Goldman Sachs, United Healthcare is the largest holding. So United Healthcare right now, pre-market, let us see, it's pretty much flat. But if we start pushing into this range, that is you have to pay attention to that. I mean, I think I have an alert set, but I'm just gonna put one again anyway because I need to know. I really need to know that. All right, let's go to that Russell. So the Russell basically had an engulfing candle pretty strong of these last 2 days. Okay, so that's showing a little strength here, almost a triple bottom. Kind of closed above the 9 EMA daily. Still, as far as this down move in the Fibonacci world, it's still only at a 23.6% Fibonacci retracement, which is not that strong of a pullback. Okay, so you have to keep an eye on the Russell. Okay, now we can go to our triple-headed monster, our TNX, our VIX, and our dollar. So let's look at these. 10-year yield. This is kind of crazy. Kind of this whoop, whoop. Almost looks like a cup and a handle. But we're waiting on a CPI. I mean, literally, we're just in this range here. So we just got to keep an eye on this 10-year yield. We start going higher, that's bad for equities, right? We start to drop, that's going to be good. Let's look at the VIX. It's all about the 20 level. Okay. You can see the tops of all these candles here, right? If we come up here, I have a level here, 2031. I might actually drop that down to be here. So figured like 20. If we break 20, okay, that should send the market lower. However, we have a huge support level here down at like 1855 in the 18s. So that's been support. You can see all the way back here. So that's just that range that we've been in. And if you break here, we're probably going to go lower if we break the 20, right? If we come and break the 18, market's most likely going to move higher. So that's, really what I'm looking at. And I'm going to set an alert here. Set an alert here. All right, so that's very important to watch. The VIX has been really muted while we move lower. Sometimes a telltale sign, right? And then the dollar. I can make this. Let's look at this way here. You can just see this doji land is crazy. I've never really seen that like that before. That just shows the indecision. But we're just in this range from about 103.28 to about 101. So just a lot of indecision right now. Waiting for CPI, waiting for the Fed, what's going to do. Interest. It's all over the place. Okay. So that's those. All right, now obviously we're going to move on to the market profile, buying profile, how I look at the structure of the market. All right, give me one sec while I pull that up for you guys. Okay, get my marker out. Let's get ready to rock and roll here. All right, so you can see the market, what it's doing. We're balancing. We're in a range. Okay, you can clearly see it here. Here's the lows. Here's the highs. We're in a range. Okay, we have huge data coming out on Wednesday. Huge data coming out. Okay, so the market tends to, go back and forth until they get more information. Okay, we're kind of balancing now. So I want everyone to pay attention to these levels now. So the most traded price of the month has now moved higher. Okay, so that price is 41.30 is the most traded price of the rolling month. Okay, that's very important to note. Okay, what else do we have? We have the most traded price of the week is down at 41.10. Now you can see this in the profile, right? There's a double distribution. Now this is just for the last rolling 5 days, but it still shows the volume for the month and the volume for the week, right? It's like a double distribution. So you have one distribution here and another distribution here. Okay? Hence why, but this one goes back the last 30 days. That's why this is a stronger level. This level right here. Okay? These are very big levels. If we can't hold above the 41.30 and we dip below, we're most likely going back to the most traded price of the week into the bottom of this range. So these levels tell us it could be a ping pong effect here. You could ping in between these levels, and even if you do this, you could still ping. These levels still hold. Okay, so it's very important right away when I'm looking at the market. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, now what's very important is where we're at right now. Okay, we are above these levels in the ES. That is bullish. Now, do I think we just jump out here? I don't know. I never know, right? I'm not going to tell you I know what's going to happen. But that right now, I'd have to say is bullish. We're holding in the highs of this range. Okay, but we also got to look at the Nasdaq because the Nasdaq's a big, the technology is 27% of the S&P. So you really have to pay attention to the Nasdaq. So now let's look at this market. Okay, let's look at where we're at. We talked about the big levels, right? So what are we doing in the overnight? Now the price is right here around 41.40, 41.39. Look at the beautiful profile in the overnight. That is just balance. That's a picture perfect profile. That's equal distribution. We're right at yesterday's close. Look at that right there. And we're balanced. So there's nobody, hurt. It's very balanced. You can't read a lot into it. So that tells me that I can't really fully read about it. What's to make a trade off of the overnight? That's all I'm saying. Okay. So that's one. Right now, can this change? Because if this price goes up here, then that's a gap. But right now we're not. We're right at the highs. Okay. Now, um, right away I can see what my trades will probably be right off the bat. Okay, because we have our levels. We have our levels. Okay. So let's do that. Let's go off of the long. All right. We'll look at that plan. Let's look at our ES trade plan. Okay, so talked about these levels. Right now, this is a very strong level. It's the most traded price of the last month. Okay, we're holding above it. So what I'd like to see, is if price can take out this supply zone here. If this can take it out, so that would remove sellers from the supply here, right? Even if it came back down and we held 41.30, started making some higher lows, I would love a long trade targeting the overnight high of 41.48. Okay. Next target, naked VPOC and supply zone up here. Right here, 41.67. Okay. I really like that because it's nice and clean. It's a very clean setup. Very, very clean setup. Okay. So let's go for the other one. Now, we could talk about the next long trade that I could see. Because you have to go from the aspect right now. All right. If I'm looking at the overall basis of my trade plan is I think a higher probability is a range bound market, right? So this could happen if I see it, right? My overall feeling, that probability wise, we're going to just go in a range. But I have to put the scenario there because if it's there, I want to take it. Okay? So I don't know if this breakout happens, but I have to have it as part of my scenario. All right? I'm not tied to any scenario. However, if the market does maybe sell off and it comes back down here to the bottom of the range where there's been buyers, right? And we basically hold this demand zone and we make higher. Sellers can't break it lower. Well, then I'm gonna maybe look for a long targeting this 41.30 level because that would be a range bound trade. Okay, because if we do come back all the way down from here, now there'd be sellers all from up top. Well, if they don't get paid to go lower, they're gonna have to cover their positions. You go along here. Okay, so those are the longs. Let's talk about shorts, and you're gonna realize kind of the same scenario. Now, you could go to the top. Now, first thing here, there's a supply zone here. Okay, so if we open and we come in here and we're really not able to get out of the supply, start making some lower highs, you could short here. And I'm not saying it would be wrong, but we're above this level, right? So if anything, you want to target 41.30. That could be a nice short. Okay, if you want to say, you know what, I don't want to take a short here, I do believe we would come down to this level, but then it could get defended, like I said, the long. However, it might not. If it cuts through this level, which would be hard to do, and you start accepting it below it, then we most likely are going to traverse, go back to the lows. All right, you target this area down here. So I just gave you the short immediately. If we have trouble, get weakness at the top of this range, buyers don't get anywhere, target here. Right? Now, if you hold some contracts on, or however you're trading, stock, whatever, then we probably traverse the range and come back here, and then we wait for tomorrow. Okay? Obviously, got to talk about the breakdown lower, right? Because you got all these lows here. The possibility could be somehow we get some weakness. Who knows? Fed says something, and we could move down here. And then what that target is, that's a naked VPOC. Okay, that's 40.80. And again, a naked VPOC is just the most traded price of a day that's not been touched. That's all that is. Okay, and really quickly, I can show you that how I track those in this chart right here. Okay, so let me bring this chart into view. All right. Now, I don't know how clearly you guys can see this, but let me zoom. Let me try to zoom it for you guys and make it like be bigger. Okay. So this particular plugin I have gives me the dates of the naked VPOCs. Okay. So let's see if I can bring this into view. So this day right here, see the most traded price of that day has never been touched. And it gives me right here, that was on March 30th. So that's why it's a target. See the volume here? That price never got touched again. So that's what I mean when I say a naked VPOC. If that's a target, it's just a price that the most traded price of a day that's never been touched again. And usually those are like magnets. So just wanted to show you guys that to make that clear. Hope that helped out, because I know not everybody understands market profile terminology. However, we got now our plan. Okay. Now let's look at the Nasdaq. All right, so the Nasdaq's setting up very similar. Okay. The most traded prices of the week and the month aren't exactly in the same places that the ES is. Okay, but we're still in this range. Okay, let's look at the profile. So we have double distribution again. See, there's a distribution there, and we're in this range. Here's the highs, here's the lows. That's the range we're in. All right, and that's just telling us we're waiting for information. Yeah, CPI, PPI, the FOMC minutes, right? So we have supply here that it breached it a little bit, but it held it. So I'm going to keep that supply right here. Now the Nasdaq's a little weaker. Okay, slightly, not by much. So the same thing. I don't like the Nasdaq long as much as I like the ES long. But you still have to talk about if we break these highs. Okay, the only thing why I'm saying that is because there's another supply up here. There wasn't in ES. However, we have to talk about it. So let's just go over what I'm seeing. Okay, another balanced profile. Right, we have the close here, and we're just on either side of it. It's kind of balanced. Right, so I can't really read too much into it. Now I am seeing something I like to see as far as a short. Okay, that I really like. Now that I'm seeing that right now, I want to just check back to the ES to make sure I didn't miss that, if the ES has that. Okay, the ES does not have that same setup as the Nasdaq. I just wanted to make sure. I trust myself, but I wanted to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to explain what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. All right, so right now the Nasdaq for me is setting up for a short. Okay, why I like it, I'm going to explain to you. Now, it doesn't mean I have to take a short, obviously, but I like it. Okay, now, why do I like it? Well, where price is. Now, if you notice, if you guys watch me, these boxes right here, it's like a hot pink box, means that's the most traded price of yesterday. And what I like to see is when we closed here, okay, everybody's long. Everyone's long, okay? You got to think about that. Everybody is long, okay? Yesterday, long. And then we're holding around the close of yesterday. So we have what I like to call a weak low. And that just means that there's multiple points that are inflection points in the market that, if broken, it kind of gives you like that the more levels you can have to break, the more confluence, the more inflection points are lined up together, the bigger the move, the more important, that it could, break. Okay? So that's why I'm explaining this. So where is that, right? It's right here, because this most traded price is right here. Okay? And the overnight low is here. Now, I just want to make sure everybody understands why I'm saying this. Let's say you bought yesterday, like AMD or Nvidia, right? And let's say you bought it towards the lows because they had a nice day, and you took it and the market closed here. So you're holding that in the market closed there. Okay? And then in the futures market, the most traded price was here. The most contracts traded was here, right? So the most people that traded, most likely long because we closed here, are here. Okay? And the longs from the overnight bought it here. So if we now you understand that. So this level is very key. If we break it, I feel there's single prints here. We could definitely make it down. There's a little demand zone here to this most traded price of the week. What is that level? That is like 130.39. Okay? So now that you know that, let's talk about a plan. Let's get into our plan. Okay, so here's the plan of the short. Interesting, right? Because my first plan on the ES was a long because of the way it was set up. Now, obviously, I liked it for them to be in sync. What we have in our favor is technology is the weakest sector. So, pre-market. Well, does that mean much? It means a little because they're weaker, right? However, here we go. If we open up, what I would love to see is a push higher into this supply. Get longs even more trapped. That even fuels this trade more, right? Try to go higher, start to fail, start to get weak. Remember, everyone's long. Well, they might start taking profits, right? And if we start moving back here with some volume and we go to this weak low area, we could break it. There's single prints here, not much volume. I would be targeting at least 130.56, if not the most traded price of the week. Okay, hold on from a runner. If it doesn't hold, you go down to the lows of yesterday. And that's my range bound thesis, right? Because we're waiting for it tomorrow. That is a really, really nice trade. I really like that setup. Okay. That, what I would say, is really what I want to look at as far as the short. And then, obviously, I have to talk about it. If we break these lows, we could definitely go down to the most traded price of the month. This naked VPOC down here. Remember, the most traded price of the months are stronger levels. That means 30 days of that trade. That's the most traded price for the last 30 days. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about it long. The long, you have to make me believer of the long, would be market moves up, breaks this supply, and we kind of pull back. But we hold up in this, we hold the top of this range and start making higher lows. Then I might be a believer of a long. Okay, but you have to do some breaking of the supply up here for me to start to believe that the long is there, and we're going to break out before a major news release. Okay, and again, What could happen here is I talked about this short. We could definitely hit this demand zone, hold the most traded price of the week, and then we can just be range bound, right? Or we break this, hit this demand zone, the bottom of the range, which would definitely hit this 20 SMA, okay? And you could definitely, sellers don't get anywhere. You're going to go long, target the most traded price of the week, and probably we might traverse the range. But there's just a lot of mess in between these two distributions here, okay, that can ping pong us back and forth. Just keep that in mind. But I have to lay out all the scenarios, okay? I hope everybody that's clear to whoever's watching. Um, Now I want to just bring your attention to two things on the candlestick charts. Just give me a sec while I pull that up. I'm going to hit you guys with the futures, the current futures watch list while I set this up just really quickly. Alrighty. So I just want to show you guys this trend line that's been holding up. This isn't as powerful as the NQ, which I'll show you. But this trend line has been from this low. We hit here. That was what it was hit yesterday. Came in as his demand. Alright, now we're up here. And you can see the levels here. Most traded price of the month. That's what I talked about. Most traded price of the month. Most traded price of the week. Remember those levels. Hold above it. That's bullish. Want to break this supply? We can move higher, right? That's the plan. Come under it. Come up here. You can short it down to here. We can come down here. Go here. Okay. Really quick review of what I was talking about earlier. Okay, let's go to the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ has a very, very important trend line that you guys can see. That it's just been honored. You have to note it. Here, here, and here. So that's trend line is very, very important. Oh, thanks, man. So this trend line, you can just tell that it's been honored. It started here, got support here, hit it yesterday, double bottomed right at it, out of demand zone, popped right up. Okay? And also this key resistance of 132.06 in the NASDAQ. You can see it's a pivot line here. Support, resistance, 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 right? You know, I'm not big into the patterns to talk about those, but you can't deny this inverse head and shoulders here. Okay, you got your head, right? Your necklines here, that level I just talked about on the shoulder and the shoulder. So if we come up here, 132.06, probably get some push, but you go into a next supply zone with another level, right? That's why I said the long I didn't like as much of the NQ just because of all the overhead supply. But I can't deny that if we do push up, that's could cause some short covering. Okay, so that's about it for me. Hopefully, we end basically confirmed that everything was clear, so I'm happy about that. And that will be it for me. All right, so please give me a follow on Twitter. My handle is at Gonzo719. I always upload. I gotta change that Alexa thing. You're gonna hear it again. Go ahead, Alexa. Thank you, Alexa. Um, have to turn that phone off. So yeah, give me a follow on Twitter. I like to post my shorts there if I do any trades. Yesterday, just full transparency, I really missed two longs, an Nvidia and AMD. It was a beautiful setup. I was waiting. I was too patient to do it, and they were really perfect longs. If you check out those charts, I mean, they were just beautiful longs. They basically was so set up to squeeze the shorts, and I waited too long. So you don't get them all, but you know that's okay. So anyway, um, I'm trying to build this channel, right? So please give me a like, right? Please give me a like, and always, hopefully, you can share, retweet me, do whatever, and of course, subscribe, right? So just trying to build this channel, right? Um, Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the trade plan, made it was clear. I'm trying to just get better. Please give me comments. I like feedback of maybe what I'm doing. Maybe you would want to see more, because I'm always open to suggestions. I just want to make this channel bigger, and obviously I'm adding tweaks to it. So hopefully you guys who've been watching me can see that, or if you're new, then you're just getting the new version. And today, be careful with the Fed speakers. Okay, obviously that can cause some volatility. We have our plan. Let's follow it. Let's stay green. Let's be patient. And again, if I see something of note during the trading day, I will send out a video. And I want to just say good luck to everybody. Hopefully everybody has a green day. And I will see everybody tomorrow.